This is where you really, really have to start paying attention.
Yeah.
And we're not just saying that to get everybody in the room.
Right. I want to share with you a little story that just happened with a lady I was just talking to. She said she has a website that's fairly new, and she's working with a web development team or web design team. And they said to her, and I don't know where you are, but I hope I get the story right, that, that you needed to get back to them with the meta information about the site. And when you did, they said, oh, it doesn't matter, because Google will look at all the keywords on your page. Your page is what matters. So I'm going to look at your site, and I'm telling you that person is completely full of it, and they don't know what they're doing. So do not work with them. Fire them today.
It happens all the time.
Happens every day,
I mean,
all the time.
That's how I ended up getting into this industry, is because I had a 19 system DJ company in Las Vegas. We also did photography and video. We kind of did everything. And 2004, when Overture, I think, was around, I started to learn about search engine optimization because I was always trying to be cutting edge and being, ahead of the competition. And I hired an SEO company to come in and do SEO for me. They charged me $2,000 a month, and I got nothing for it. And then I said, all right, well, maybe I made a mistake. Let me try a different company, as most people probably would do. You're looking for the expertise. Found another company, paid them $2,000 a month, got nothing. So I kept spinning my wheels. I'm like, there's got to be a solution for this. And I actually read a book on it. I started to do research. And then I just became a vigorous student of this, because if I could do this in just my small business, I can do this in just about any business. It was basically revolutionary marketing. It's marketing that was going to change the future. And that's basically how we developed into
we're hoping that you're either going to start doing it for yourself, or you're at the very least going to be able to have a conversation with somebody and be able to call BS on them before it costs you a lot of money. Okay? Okay, so let's just recap. So you have the right tools to work with. You're submitting your sites to Google Local. You're knowing how to top rank on Google Local. And you're doing your keyword research based on search volume and competitive landscape. The next section that we want to talk about is these on-page factors. This represents 15% of SEO. It's, as we like to put it, maybe this is a correct analogy, maybe it's not, but we talk about it a lot. It's like going to a club and really wanting to get into the club, and the on-page factors allow you to get in line for the club. You're not in the door yet, but at least you're in the line. Okay, so they are important. Do not ignore them. And what that person told you about it's in the text on the page, that's not true. These consist of your title tag, your meta descriptions, your meta keywords, your header tags, and your alt text. Okay, this is the techie part. But again, you're going to be talking to whoever runs your site, or you're going to be going to places like Elance and hiring someone for relatively cheap to go ahead and change it for you. Or you're going to go ahead and use Composer and take a stab at changing it for yourself. We'll show you where to find everything.
Your best bet is to go to elance.com, put up a project for like $75 for somebody to kind of come in and change your meta tags for you. Not even, I mean, maybe $25. It's really not that. It's 2 minutes worth of work. $25, because you're going to want to do this on every page. It's not just you just do it on your site and it's universal. You want to basically change this information on every page. So if you have a page that's about your photography, you want all of this stuff to be tailored to your photography. If you have a page that's about your videography, you obviously want to make that page more relevant to the search engines about videography. So if you have a 15-page website, you want to have 15 different versions of this information. The only information that header tags and alt tags, you guys really don't have to worry about that. The two big things is your title tag and your meta description, because that is actually what shows up on a Google search in the search engine result pages. So the title tag is the title tag is 64 characters. I said 160, I apologize. That's the meta description. So you only want to keep your title tag within 64 characters. The meta description, you can go as much as 160 characters for that. And the meta description, this is actually what's going to separate you from your competition on the search engines. This is where you want to put your USPs, your unique selling propositions, things like things like why you are actually rated #1 wedding photographer in Minneapolis. You want to have a call to action on there. Call us today for a free a free analysis of your wedding, or whatever it is that you do. So you want to put your USPs as well as a call to action on your meta description.
You got to be close to it, I think. Okay, this is a site that you might recognize. Perfect Wedding Guide, St. Paul. And this is one of the sites that we're working on behalf of Perfect Wedding Guide. And it wasn't just the one keyword that the site's now top ranking for. It's top ranking for quite a few. Like, isn't like photography one of them?
Yeah. We're ranking Minneapolis wedding photographer. I think we're #3 now for that term, and we've only started that phrase. So.
Right. So all of these things, these are your on-page factors. Okay. The most important thing, and why it's in red, is your title tag at the very top. Okay. It's what defines you and your site. These things here. The H1 tags, don't worry too much about those right now, okay? But what you should be concerned about is this one right here, the meta description. Okay, this is your, as Jason was saying before, this is your pitch for your company. This is saying, the top one says this is what we want to be known for, and the bottom one says this is why we should be known for it. Okay, so you want to spend a lot of time on that. Every time you have a picture on your site, don't let whoever builds your site for you, don't let them just put a picture up there and have pic1.pic or whatever they want to call it, the file name. They need to name that. Google can't see pictures. They want to see the keyword. So whatever keyword you're trying to rank for, it's called alt text. So whoever you're telling to do your SEO, they need to change all the images on your site to alt text, and you tell them what keywords that they should put in as the alt text based on your keyword research.
There's another benefit to that than just typical search engine optimization. So if I'm a photographer in Minneapolis, and I've got some really killer photos that I really want to get visible and exposure, what I would do is I would actually display them on my website, but I would actually optimize those photos for things like best Atlanta wedding photographer, right? #1 rated Minneapolis wedding photographer. Do some keyword research, name the keywords, what those pictures are, because when people type in best Atlanta wedding photographer on Google, well, guess what? There's going to be some images there.
There you go.
Right?
That's huge.
There's going to be some images there that will display on the actual organic search results. So name the photo.
Yeah.
Name the photo best Atlanta wedding photographer, best Minneapolis wedding photographer. So when somebody types that in, they're going to see pictures that they just did that search, and there's going to be really nice pictures there, and they're going to click on that picture, and when they're going to look at some of the other pictures there because you optimized for it, and next thing you know, you might get business just because you're revealing your artwork, your art, to the people that are doing the search.
That's a great tip.
Mm-hmm. I just thought of that.
Smart boy. It happens not to be true, but whatever.
JPEG or GIF.
Yeah,
JPEG or GIF.
Now, I remember when I first started out in SEO, and someone was talking to me about, just change the title tags, just change the meta description.
He handed me the microphone.
Oh, did he? Did you have a question?
Go ahead. Well, along those lines, okay, I'm a photographer. I've got a page of 20 wedding photographs. Each one of them has that same name, or each one of them could be different names, or what should I do? I would
do some keyword research, and I would see what people are searching for. You know, like examples of wedding photography in Minneapolis. You can name it whatever you want to name it. Yeah. So just get them, and I'm telling you right now that nobody is doing that. There's no photographer in the United States.
I think the name is in the background. It's not actually on the photograph. It's not visible. It's just when you click it. It's the title
of the photo. So instead of it being image 7654 that your camera automatically will assign it, nobody's ever going to do that search. Google's going to go out and actually see best Atlanta wedding photographer, and it would actually show up on the search results.
But I think there's a second part.
Along those lines, let's say I have a shot with the St. Paul Hotel. It's on my site. Do I put that in there too to try to work back and forth?
Why not? Yeah. Why not? If you actually done events at a place and you got pictures of the event, a wedding that you shot there, why not optimize for it?
But Jason, can you use the same tag on all the photos, or do you do different tags on each photo?
That's what I was just going to say.
You can do the same tags on different photos. Like if you're really trying to optimize my website, like for example, I rank number 2 on Google for wedding favors. I have a wedding favors site. And every time you type in wedding favors, I'm number 2. I will be number 1 soon, but I'm getting there. So I'm number 2. The person that's number 1 has been doing it for a long, long time. But basically, every time you do a search for wedding favors, like most of my images say wedding favors, unique wedding favors, you know, all different kinds of versions of wedding favors, because I want to get the keyword wedding favors as many times on the page. So you can name them the same.
It's also the same kind of rule like when you blog. You're not going to blog one time with those keywords. You're going to blog lots and lots and lots with that same keyword. So one blog isn't going to make you competitive. 100 blog posts is going to make you competitive. The point I was going to make just before was that I struggled with this area when I first started out in SEO about 6 years ago. When people would talk about just change meta descriptions, they were so blasé about it. And until someone sat me down and I realized that for every site, it's pretty much all the squiggly stuff at the beginning. That's the HTML. It's pretty much the same. So you can go on to any site that's top ranking and you can look at their source code by doing Command U.
Control U.
Control U,
or
and it'll bring up a
Command U
page of all their source code. You just copy and paste that because that's your code. And that applies to every website. Okay, so give that to your web developer. Or put that into that composer tool that we were talking about before. But obviously change it because it's not, you don't want to use exactly what they're using. Yeah?
I prefer to just get somebody that knows what they're doing, because when you're messing with code,
Boy, there's that.
it can get really sloppy. You could put something in there like an extra comma or something, and your page is like messed up.
Yeah, but I mean, we disagree a bit. But I'm talking about like if they want to give it to someone who they're currently working with, right?
Sure.
Like
Yeah, there you
just
go.
instruction.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, yeah.
Right.
Quick question.
Right.
We have a brand new website, and we got it so we can do all the updates by using a program called Contribute. Can I do all this stuff on Contribute? Do you guys know what that is?
Contribute, is that, what are you, a photographer or something? What
No.
do you do?
No, it's
A
a
venue.
software.
Is it a software? I know, like
It's a software.
sometimes you have like sites like that are actually, they're called content management systems, that's what they're called. Most of the time in this day and age, they will allow you to alter your meta tag and your meta description. I would basically call them and say, how do I change my meta tag and my meta description? And if there's not a solution, then find out how you can access the code through what is called FTP, and then you can actually update it that way.
And if they still tell you you can't do it, that's not good.
That's not the right solution for you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so now back to our checklist. We have the right tools. We're submitting your business to Google Places. You've done the keyword research and search volume based on competitive landscape, and now you're going to be changing your on-page factors, now using your new keywords and keyword phrases. Don't forget what Jason said before. Every page is different. So if you have 50 pages to your site, your title tag is going to be different depending upon what you want to compete for. All that stuff's going to be different. But don't worry about what we're showing you before, H1 tags and all that. Focus on your meta description, your title tag, and your alt text, and you should be just fine. This is a huge one. This is something that we spend so much time doing. We actually have a company that's part of our company in the Philippines that houses 100 link builders. They're called link associates, and each of our link associates builds between 40 and 60 links for our clients every day. Right, so they are an army, and they march on our command. So whenever we get a new client, we do the brief, and then we brief all of our link associates. It's managed by one of our people over there, and it's the most important thing. If there's one thing you get right about this whole SEO thing, it's this. All the other stuff is important, but this is the big one: building links and how to build links. Jason is a complete master at it. I have learned unbelievable amounts of things from Jason just on this topic alone, so I'll let you talk mainly about this one.
Okay. So I kind of touched on it briefly about what it is to build a link. A link can be as simple as getting your friend who is in the wedding industry to put a link on his website back to your website. Now, back a couple years ago, I want to say 2 or 3 years ago, the way to build links was to create an email and say, hey, will you link to me if I link to you? And I'm sure that, has anybody got an email like that that says, link to me and I'll link to you? That's called reciprocal linking, and that is a thing of the past. So what happened was, that was when Google was vulnerable, and people would actually try to manipulate the search engines that way. So they would actually say, hey, if you link to me, I'll link to you, and if you link to me, I'll link to you, and they'd have a whole section on their site that says our links, and it's just nothing but cross links back and forth to each other, right? So that was a way to manipulate the search engines back then, and it worked. Today, Google actually cancels those out. So if you link to me and I link to you, Google just basically just unlocks that. What you want to do is you want to get you link to me and I don't link to you. That's a powerful link. And you want to get as many as those as possible. Now, there's a lot of people in the room saying to themselves right now, well, how the heck do I do that? And there's so many different strategies that you can do to do this kind of stuff. Things that you don't have to pick up the phone and call every person that has a website and beg them to put a link on your website, and then you're not going to give them a link back. What you can do is you can actually use different strategies to actually build links. And I'll kind of give you, we go into this in great detail in bridal traffic. There's actually a whole chapter, chapter 6, that's dedicated to nothing but this. And I have about 12 to 15 strategies that I use and that we have our team use for our clients. But I'll give you a couple just to kind of today. So has anybody heard of Google Alerts? Google Alerts. What do you use Google Alerts for? Anybody? Why do you use it for? That's a perfect example of why you should. That's the reason why Google created Google Alerts. Has anybody never heard of Google Alerts before I just said that? There's probably a lot of people. It's not uncommon. It's something that's only been around for, I want to say, maybe 12 to 16 months.
About 18 months.
So what Google Alerts is actually what this nice lady had just kind of explained, is it keeps track of your brand. It keeps track of you. It's basically reputation management is what it is. So if you are, maybe you are a photographer or a DJ or something, and you have a company in Atlanta, and let's just say, for example, one of your DJs got drunk and just totally ruined the wedding. I'm sure you've heard about that. But if you didn't and somebody blogged about it and said, oh my God, this DJ company named XYZ DJ just ruined my best friend's wedding, and here's some photos and blah, blah, blah. Well, before Google Alerts, you might have never, ever known about that. Now with Google Alerts, if they mention your name and you have an alert set for your name, as soon as somebody blogs about you, in the matter of minutes, once it's published on the web and Google indexes it, you're getting a notification through an email saying, hey, somebody just mentioned your name on Google, and here it is. And that could be for good things, it could be for bad things. Now, how does this relate to link building? Does anybody have any idea of how this can relate to link building?
We use it for another reason too, for our name. We can also look and see what our competitors are doing.
Sure.
And so we can get information and we can see like what other conventions taking place. And we can get the link for that organization and we can contact them and see where's your next meeting being held. Would you like some information from us?
Sure, that's one example of using it.
Yep.
The way that we use it, and it's a good way to actually build one-way links, is to set Google Alerts for everything related to your industry. So Minneapolis wedding. Whenever somebody blogs about a Minneapolis wedding, let you be the first one to be known about that. When anybody blogs about the newest Canon photography equipment, if you're a photographer, let you be the one to be first known about that. What happens is you're sent an alert that somebody just blogged about something related to a Minneapolis wedding. So the page, not all links are created equal. Obviously, having a link from a site that is about wedding photography and you are a photographer, that's going to be a little bit more powerful in the form of a weight than a link from an ice cream shop, right? Because it's more relevant to the subject. So Google recognizes that. So what happens is you find out that somebody actually put a blog post up about a Minneapolis wedding or something to do with Minneapolis wedding. You're instantly you instantly created, you created an alert that says, anytime somebody types in Minneapolis wedding photographer or Minneapolis wedding, send me this alert. So you get the alert, you click on the link, and it actually is a blog post. So what you do is you kind of read the blog post. Then at the bottom of the blog post, you're going to leave a comment onto the blog post, right? And by you leaving a comment, you are essentially creating a one-way backlink right back to your site, right? So that's why blogs are extremely powerful. Now, there's one thing that you want to do, though, because the only way, unless you know code and how to actually manipulate code, the only way that you're going to get the link is it's actually going to have your name. It's going to say, there's 3 pieces of information that it asks for, actually 4. It asks for your name, your email address, your URL, and then the comment field. So in your name, you want to put the keyword that you want to rank for. So if it's Minneapolis wedding photographer or Minneapolis banquet hall, you want to put that as your name, because that's what's going to be the link. That's going to be the anchor text
It
that shows
attaches
up.
that to the
And
URL.
it attaches that to the URL. So in your URL, you want to put your website address. So the name is Minneapolis wedding photographer. Put your URL in there. Put your email address in there. And then put a comment. But don't just say, hey, nice blog. Because most of these comments are moderated, right? But if you actually engage in the conversation in an intelligent way, then chances are they probably will leave it. Like, I love this. I love what you've done here. I especially love the pink dress that you have. It's just beautiful. You know, I'm a bride, and if you can play the ego card, even better. If you can actually just say, this is like the best thing since sliced bread. This blog. And I'm going to sign up for your RSS feed. And I mean, don't go too extreme, but you know, engage in the conversation and try to play their ego, because nobody likes to remove comments, especially if after they just spent 45 minutes taking the time to write this creative blog post.
Yep.
Can I just ask, what happens if your competitor is commenting on your blog?
Then you just moderate it. You don't approve
You don't
it.
have to,
you
yeah.
have the power to just moderate it.
Yeah.
You can turn the comments off too, if you want.
But there's
sure.
also a good chance that your competitor doesn't know to put the keyword in their name. They'll actually put their name, right? So therefore ranking for their name.
I could see it now. All the photographers are going to go home and create a blog war.
That's the challenge of presenting to a group like this, because we know that everyone kind of confuses each other. So have at it.
So that is just one strategy, and there's a lot of other strategies, but that should be enough to kind of get you guys started.
Yep. The other links that I'll just touch on briefly, directories are really important. We have a list of what we consider to be like the top 500 directories. The challenge with directories are really important because they're these big machines out there, and Google looks at them and says, wow, it's got all this content, we love them, we're therefore going to give them a page rank of a 7. You get links coming into your site with a page rank of a 7 that has your keyword in it, that's really, really valuable.
Why don't you tell them what PageRank is? I don't think we really.
Sorry. PageRank
PageRank
is how Google weighs each site. It's basically a score.
Each page.
Each
Not
page.
the site.
Sorry. Each page, Jason. So every page you look at has its own page rank. And basically, it's named after Larry Page, one of the creators of Google. And it essentially, PageRank used to be everything. It was once a time, 5-6 years ago, where most of the rankings were based on PageRank. Where it's really important now is that it gives you a basic kind of understanding of how significant a page is. So the basic rule of thumb is that if you see, many sites have like a 0 PageRank, okay? And that's that little green bar that's in the toolbar that we were showing you before. It's on the left-hand side. If you're going to a site and it's got like 4, I was surprised to see that that's a very good page rank for a local market. Well done. Mm-hmm. 5, 6, really hard to get. 7, 8, like USA Today, I think is an 8, right? So it's just a way in which Google says, okay, these guys are monsters or these guys are local players.
And here's a tip. You know, when I said not all links are equal, well, a link from CNN.com is going to be much, much more powerful. One link from CNN.com is like the equivalent of, let's just say 500,000 links from like maybe a PR1 or 2.
Is that many? Really?
It's that powerful.
Wow.
It's what you do is you multiply it. So a page rank of 8, what you do is you multiply 8 times 8 times 8 times 8 times 8 times 8. And that's how you come up with how many PageRank 1 links that you have to get to equivalent of PageRank 8. Did you know that?
I did not know that. There you go. In fact, you just got interviewed, or we're getting interviewed by them today? Is that?
USA Today and Bloomberg News, yeah, about
Right.
this Google.
So our PR company has got us commenting on Google Moves, right? And the way we play it from an SEO perspective is we vet the article that's being written about us, we submit it, and the keyword that we want to rank for, it's going to be coming back to our site. And if we get that into the USA Today with the keyword that we choose, that's just crazy powerful. Okay.
Yeah.
.edu, .gov, and .org links are really, really important, but they're kind of challenging to get.
I have a question again, sorry. So I'm not sure if USA Today or Wall Street Journal or those places have spots where people can put comments. Is that a way that you could go in and you could go to one of those and throw in
You
your
can.
stuff?
That's a great strategy, but a comment is typically going to be on one of the sub pages, which is like a PageRank 0, right? Because it's a brand new page. To get a link from the home page, there are strategies to do that. Like for example, you can find maybe like USA Today, they sometimes allow guest bloggers, right? Where you reach out to the editor of the blog and you say, hey, I've been a vigorous student of photography for a long time. I see that there's something cutting edge. I'd like to be the contributor every time there's something going on with photography. And then you might be able to get links that way.
There's also this thing called nofollow, which USA Today would most likely be following or applying to their sites. Nofollow just means that that site is not going to give you any value for the link, right? It'll link back to you, but the link value is invisible to Google. So really, the strategy of finding blogs to make posts on is in most instances, bloggers don't know about nofollow, so they haven't deployed that in their site. So 90% of the time, it's the case.
The reason why there's nofollow is to control PageRank, because PageRank is like, that's like your score. That's like your report card for your page, right? So you want to have high PageRank. So because you have a PageRank 5, you know that every time that you link out, it's devaluing the links, right? So if you link out to just one person, that's a very powerful link. If you link out to 15 people, it devalues your PageRank because you're sharing it. You're sharing that PageRank. So what happens is Google created something called nofollow so that you can still link out and not lose your PageRank.
How many people are lost? That's a tough one to follow. Don't worry too much about it. Just know that that rule is not really adhered by 90% of sites out there. They don't know about it, so you should be okay. But when you start to get into controlling your own destiny, your own page rank, that's called page sculpting, that's when that starts to come into it.
So then when you're saying that, though, like say we're listed with 20 other reception sites on, no offense, Gary, on Perfect Wedding Guide's website, by having 20 of us there listed for receptions and we're all linked, does that then take away from our...
It don't necessarily take away. There usually is more significance on the higher listings. So if you're the first link,
Alphabetically,
if you're the first
maybe.
link, sometimes alphabetically, or if it's not alphabetically, if you advertise more with them, I don't know. But if you're actually the first link, chances are you actually will get a little bit more credit than. But I don't believe that, you're not going to get, like, even the wedding venue section of the Perfect Wedding Guide is not like a PageRank 9 or 10. It's probably like a PageRank 2. So it really doesn't even matter when you're looking at it like from that scale. It's more important when you're looking at it from like the Yahoo directory. Like that's why it's important to, if you can, when you create the name of your site or something, to put like a number in front of it.
Yeah.
Because when you actually get into the directories, you're usually the first one that's listed. And when you get into like a Yahoo directory or the DMOZ directory, you're going to be the first one listed on the page, on the first page, which is like PageRank 5, 6. So you're going to get a lot more power.
That doesn't mean to say, I would think of the Perfect Wedding Guide as a major directory in this industry. So there are rules that we're talking about that certainly do apply to how you engage with the Perfect Wedding Guide. Use your keywords. I'm not sure what your site structure is like. I'm not sure what the nofollow is like. Do you know?
No, the Perfect Wedding Guide is great. I mean, they have a very active blog, right? I mean, very, very active blog. That's a great place to go and read read the blog post and add your comments and contribute. Perfect example of how to basically leverage people's blogs.
Yeah, and so what this screen here is trying to say is that whether it's a blog post or a forum post, we talk a lot about blogs and setting your Google alerts for blogs, right? So keyword and then click the box blog, click the box forum as well, click the box news as well. Okay, so you want to participate in every possible platform you can. We're going to get into video, right? Creating videos and syndicating those videos out and getting your video with your keywords syndicated out through multiple platforms, not just putting it up on your site and then putting it up on YouTube. That's not video syndication, right? That's not, from an SEO perspective, that's not what we're talking about. So it's just, you're trying to get that keyword out to as many sites as possible, and you're trying to make sure that you're engaging with strong sites. So we are now starting to build all kinds of anchor text links, not just normal links, keyword links, back into your site. So you're going to be looking for directory links, article links, blog links, forum links, .edu links, and .org links. And again, we don't have time to go through all of them. Article syndication links is a huge strategy. We go through all of it in Bridal Traffic, obviously.
Press releases, like there's so many different strategies that we'll get into in Bridal Traffic, but for the purposes of time, we'll kind of just mention a few.
Okay, so blogging. We said before that blogging is so significant, and for two reasons. One, content. Google is just a content-eating machine. They want to see lots and lots and lots of content. So it's your responsibility not just to put your site up there and just let it sit. That's a dormant site. Google does not like dormant sites. They want to see activity. In fact, there's a way in which every time you write a blog, at least we do it for our clients, we ping their sites, and we ping their blog posts. And what pinging is we let them know, let the Google search engine know that we've just done something new. Even though the blog is going to trigger it anyway, we want to go ahead and get credit for it right away, right? We don't want to wait. That's a little bit irrelevant or off topic, but my point is that content is so significant, your site moving so that Google can see that you're new and fresh and you got another idea, and they want that content. That's what makes them strong. You're feeding the monster, okay?
They take you more seriously the more frequently that you update your content. So if you've had a website that has basically just been sitting there and looking the same for the past 7 years, there's probably a good chance that Google comes and visits your website maybe once every 3 months. Yeah. Right? However, if you have a blog that you're actively adding new content to once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, Google will come back and visit you that much more frequently, and that will actually increase your position on what is called the search engine result pages when you do searches. So to have a blog is extremely important because, one, you're adding new content to your website. You're also showing that the site is active. And there's a reason why CNN will publish a story, and like literally a minute or two later, that story is available on the Google search engines. It's because Google shows so much love back to Google CNN shows so much love back to Google in the form of creating content that they spider them every like 20 seconds.
You're paying the doorman. Right?
Yeah.
I just made that up.
Is it on? As a photographer, I upload my clients' pictures to my website. Would that be considered, would that apply?
Is that
for
going through
content
like a
change?
secure, do they have to type in like a password?
Yeah.
So Google, anytime there's a password, Google doesn't know the password, so it just stops. It won't be able to see that.
There's another question over here. Here.
With a blog, do you need to have a comment interaction?
No.
Because if I use front page 2000, I do it myself, and I don't really know how to do it.
Okay. We're gonna tell you the platform that we highly recommend, that Google loves. Okay. I don't know all the blogging platforms, but it's kind of weird because Google, you'd think, would love Blogger because
they own it.
They own it, and they do love it. But there was another company that set up specifically for Google, more or less, called WordPress, and they built their technology for the search engines.
Well,
so that, I mean, that's maybe not completely accurate, but the point I'm going to make is that you're going to get a lot more SEO love if you're working with a WordPress blog on your site than any other platform.
The reason for that is because Blogger was a private company that was created by...
And they bought them?
Basically by individuals that were hired to create Blogger. So Google acquired them. With WordPress, it's what is called open source, So you have developers from all over the country that create new and creative applications to perfect WordPress. So it was pretty ingenious when the guy Matt
Okay, this
founded
is,
that.
and we're going to speed up a little bit here. This is a huge thing, link building, and you're gonna. This is going to mess with your head a little bit, okay? Because it messed with mine for like a year until someone really sat me down and explained it to me. By every time, your blog is going to live on your site, okay? So it's the name of your site, www.name-of-your-site.com/, and then whatever the blog post is. Every time you write a blog, Google sees that as a new page. Therefore, think of your own blog post as another site writing about you. As a result of that, you can drop your keyword links in your own blog posts. Right? So if you wanted to, you can blog 10 times a day and build 20 links a day into your own site with your own keywords. You're not asking anyone's permission. To me, that's unbelievably profound. Right? That the currency on the web is something that you can pay yourself with all day long. Just as a question of whether or not you know how to do it, what platform to use, and whether or not you're prepared to put the time in. Hire someone to do it. Yes. Yeah. We're going to show you how to do it in a second.
I have a quick question. We already do the SEO in our blogs, but one thing that we struggle with is writing good informational blogs, but also having the SEO terms in there. So how do you do a balance between like blogging and an advertisement, if that makes sense?
The way I kind of approach it is if I do my SEO the right way, I'm going to have a list of like 50 keywords in front of me, right? Call it that. So every day I'm just going to be swapping out. And it depends on your market, but like for instance, all the blogging Jason does, for almost every single blog he does, he'll have the keyword that he's trying to rank for somewhere in the text, and then he's got like literally thousands of keywords that he tries to rank for, so it's a little bit easier for him to write content all the time. But the big hero keyword that he wants to rank for tends to be wedding, right? And I think you rank
Or whatever, yeah,
whatever for wedding.
Depends.
But my point is that every time you're trying to target a keyword, and you're right, and I totally get that. How do you write 50 blog posts about Minneapolis wedding photography, right?
Here's a tip for you. How do you find out what you're going to blog about? Like, how do you get your subjects on what you're going to blog about?
We have about probably 1,000 students that we work with, and then
Word tracker?
So you're using WordTrack. Okay, good. So my point is that don't just blog to blog. Like, you can do that, but it's not blogging effectively. Like, you can go home and you can blog about this event, maybe some stuff that you learned, and that's good content, right? But chances are nobody is going to type in on Google Minneapolis event that happened at the St. Paul Regent's Hotel, right? But that might be the title of it. What you want to do is you want to go back and do keyword research, find out what people are searching for, and then that becomes subjects for what you should be blogging about.
Okay, so. We kind of got to keep going, but maybe if we have questions later, we can get to it. Go to WordPress.org, not WordPress.com. A lot of people go to WordPress.com, they start up a blog. That's hosted on WordPress. You don't want that. You want the blog to come from WordPress.org. You're going to choose a theme, then you're going to put that theme into your own site. Again, Jason will tell you, and as will I, hire someone to do it. How much would it cost to install a blog?
$100?
$100,
Maybe.
right? And you control your own destiny. It's really important. Google loves WordPress. I just like the graphic, so there you go. Okay, so this is significant. Blogging is really a way to take advantage of your long tail. In every market, you said thousands of keywords? Okay, that's long tail, right? So you have major keywords that you're trying to rank for, but the great majority of them are going to be sort of iterations and different sort of usages of different words, right? That's all long tail, and that's the perfect way to be using your blog. You don't want it to be xyz.wordpress, like I said before. You want it to be xyz.com/blog, okay? This is so important. It's half of your traffic is eventually going to be coming from your blog. You can hire guys like us to do the heavy lifting for the hardcore SEO stuff, but eventually you want to control your own destiny, right? So and your blog allows you to do that, plus the on-page stuff and the link building we were talking about before. So we want to talk a little bit about the long tail of search. Jason, you want to cover this one?
So So long tail, yeah. So what happens is, this is what we call is a hero keyword. It's the keyword that's probably going to drive the most amount of searches to your site, and it's things like, even if you put Chicago in front of it, Chicago wedding flowers, Chicago, that might get 2,000 searches a month. But what happens is when you start to add up all of these keywords, which are a lot easier to rank for, what'll happen is and plus there's so much content for every blog post that you create. So if you write a blog post about wedding flowers Denver, Denver wedding flowers, Denver wedding flowers, so on and so forth, well, you'll notice that even though you rank #1 for this keyword and you get 1,900 people visiting your website every month, as you continue to add more and more content to your blog, you'll realize that your blog is going to send far more significant traffic to your website, even if you actually ranked #1 on Google for wedding flowers. And it just happens, So you want to continue to add as much content as you can to your blog, because every time somebody types in, they say that 70% of all the searches made on Google are unique, meaning that they've never ever seen that search query before. And people, people get very specific with searching. I'm sure you do, I do. Looking for the best Thai restaurant in downtown St. Paul. Google might have never seen that before. But if somebody has a blog post that's a Thai restaurant and they actually optimize for best Thai restaurant in St. Paul, chances are I'd probably find their blog, read about their menu, and actually go and visit them.
Yeah, it gets very specific. And that's what this graph is trying to show you, is that if you're trying to top rank for florist, you're going to have a hell of a lot of competition going for that keyword. It's going to be national. And to top rank for it, you're not really going to have a lot of conversion, because you're going to get people from Miami and people from Texas and so on and so forth. You get more specific with wedding florists, but it's still national, but make it all local. Are all your thousands of keywords, are they local? No, they're more national. So you're a national company? It's a product? Okay, I see. Okay. I know we didn't show you how to set up your WordPress blog the right way, but it's, again, on bridal traffic. Just learn as much as you can about WordPress blog, okay? Because there's plugins that you're going to want to put into your blog that allows, every time you do a post, it allows, and now it gets installed automatically, so you don't have to worry too much about it, but one that doesn't get installed automatically is called SEO Slugs. You'll want that one too, but again, it's covered in bridal traffic. So you're installing WordPress blog, you're starting to get involved in that. Now we talk about video creation, okay? Mentioned before that people are getting video completely wrong. We did a lot of work in this area, and what people tend to do, they tend to be in this category of either they've put a video on their website, or they've put it up on YouTube, or they're a little bit nervous about getting in front of the camera, and we all get that. And then they've said, well, it hasn't worked, so video's not for me, or we tried that, and it's not for me. And I can assure you that Google loves video. They just want to know that you're committed to it as well. And what we mean by that is that you need to be able to take one video and then put that one video in multiple places, but it not take you a week to do, okay? So, flip cam, got to get that. Or use your smartphone, Everything, this guy, he videos everything. I'm surprised you're not videoing me talking right now. Did he really? We had, this is as an example, and this isn't really SEO, this is more marketing, but we had a webinar the other week where we forgot to market it, we were busy, and then we had like 50 people sign up for it. Jason does a video, puts it up on YouTube, syndicates the content. Within like 20 minutes, we had 300 people show up. I was like, bam. I don't know if that got ranked on the search engines, but video is multifaceted, and it's also just an awesome way to brand yourself. And remember that rule about giving. Right? The rule about sharing with people. We do a lot of video education, and I can't tell you the amount of phone calls and emails we get from people just thanking us, saying, look, I had no idea, and you guys are so great to be prepared to help us. And that's what we want to be known by. So our brand gets bigger and our company gets bigger.
Yeah. It is, as a matter of fact, after this presentation, if anybody wants to do a testimonial on our flip video, what I'll do is I'll do maybe a free site analysis. If you guys can maybe share with me some of the things that you might have picked up from this presentation today on video, I'll maybe schedule like maybe a 30-minute analysis on your site for those that want to actually get us to do that. So, yep, something like that, right?
Good man. Turn the tables on him. Okay, so just think about this. If one video equals 50 links, so if your one video is optimized the right way, and by that we mean you're using a technique which is to put your video up on a place called Traffic Geyser, okay? You go to Traffic Geyser, you put your video on it, it asks you the tags that you want that video to be known for. It then takes that and it supplies that video to all these other sites. It's really not that hard to do. If that one video equals 50 links, and you do that every week, and it doesn't even matter what the content is, and if you don't like being in front of a camera, there's a place called Animoto that you can go to. A lot of wedding vendors know about Animoto. Awesome, because you can put your pictures up on Animoto and put a soundtrack to it. It's free, and you can start syndicating music videos using your pictures by using the Animoto service, and all of a sudden you're in the game. It's really, really easy to use. Animoto, A-N-I-M-O-T-O. Traffic Geyser, G-E-Y-S-E-R. There's some SEOs who don't like Traffic Geyser. I'm not one of them. I like it a lot. I've seen it get huge results. So if you keep doing that, then over a year you're going to have 2,600 links, and you're in a market where most of your competitors have 100 links, if that, and most of them aren't anchor text.
Does anybody know the second largest search engine in the world?
Probably the same guy who knew the
Not you. I'll let you get, huh? It is YouTube from the videographer. It is. YouTube is, people say Yahoo, people say Bing. It's actually YouTube. YouTube gets more searches than Yahoo and Bing. So if you have let's just say you're a wedding band or entertainment, if you actually create a video, and I think Chris is going to show an example here in a second of how we actually did this. Create a video of your band, and people are searching for like Las Vegas or Minneapolis wedding entertainment on YouTube or even on Google, because you see videos come up, the YouTube videos come up on the Google search, and you have it optimized the right way, which we're going to show you how to do in a second. You might even get people watching your videos just from an organic search. Best Atlanta wedding entertainment, best Minneapolis wedding band, things like that. Same thing with the photo.
At the very end of this, we're going to be mentioning these other companies like Jing.com. Jason and I do a lot of Jing videos. It's a free software program that allows you to capture whatever you're looking at on your screen, and it also captures your voice. Okay, you can have a headset microphone, or you can have it just come from your computer. You're built in. But the point is that little bite-sized pieces of video, you can send them to your prospects. There's a little technique that we use with a Jing video, and then we go to a place called Bud URL, shorten this really long URL into whatever we want that to read, like Bellagio banquet manager, right? If you're targeting someone, if the banquet manager for this hotel, if you've done anything like these linens, the lady who did these linens, you might want to shoot a quick video and then put yourself in it, and then get that video, and that will become a Jing video, okay? So you want to take that video, it will have its own URL. You want to take that URL, go into Bud URL, shorten it, name it, the name of this hotel is St. Paul Hotel, banquet manager. You don't think they're going to click on that? If you're in the room, I'm sorry if I'm saying something I shouldn't have been. They're going to click on that. They're going to click on it every time. So that's one way to use video. But what we're kind of talking about here is an SEO usage. Take your WordPress blog, create a PowerPoint presentation, record it into Jing video, and put it up on YouTube. It's a process, and you want to get into that habit of doing it as much as possible.
So what I'm hearing you say is that the quality of the video for these little things really isn't as big a deal as getting it. It does. I mean, it depends on who's your audience. If you actually want people to actually view it and watch the video, obviously the quality will matter. But if it's just for the purpose of building links, it doesn't matter.
Don't make it stop you.
It doesn't matter.
Just go ahead and do it.
I mean, if you're going to get in front of a camera and talk about the top tips on selecting your wedding invitations, 10 ways to select the right wedding invitation, make sure the quality's good because you want people to see that and call you from that. But if it's just about just building links, it doesn't matter.
We've only got 5 minutes left, if that, Gary, right? So we got to buzz through this. Again, this is another way of saying get in that habit of doing a press release, a voiceover. If you can do animation, great. If not, go to Animoto. The services are there. We'll do it for you. Traffic Geyser, syndicate the content. Go out via PRWeb, prweb.com. Right, so write a press release, embed that video into the press release. It syndicates it out to every news service in the world, and it's like, what, $300? Is that right, Jen?
Cheap.
Something like that.
Very cheap.
And by YouTube. We did this as an experiment. This is on Bridal Traffic, the DVD series. Just in real time, we pretended to be a Dallas wedding videographer, so we created a short video. We tagged it all the right way.
Just real quick, watch how he did it. So he put his, in the title tag, this is the important features. You want to put the keyword that you want to optimize your YouTube video right there. So just put that first. And the other thing that's very important is to put your URL at the beginning of the description, including the http : / rather. Put the URL there first, because when it actually gets indexed on YouTube, it'll actually, you want to take that person that's watching your video and convert that into a visitor on your website. So that's the first thing that will appear, and people will click on it if they like the video.
Yep.
And then tag it.
And we did that, and 15 minutes later, we were number 4 on YouTube for
Dallas wedding videographer.
And we're not
Number
even
4.
Dallas wedding videographers.
This one's 2 years, 6 months. So there's no videographers in Dallas that is leveraging. I mean, that's like, everything is so visual with videography.
Mass syndication. These are all the sites that a site like Traffic Geyser will syndicate your video onto. So it's important. Again, similar kind of thing. We kind of went over that before. So people are getting this all wrong. You know, don't be one of those people that get it wrong. Spend some time focusing on getting it right. Do one a month, and you're going to get lots of links, and you're going to get good branding out there, and it's going to serve your website very, very well. Jing, Animoto, Bud URL. A longer version of Jing, so Jing limits it to 5 minutes, is Camtasia. So it basically does the same thing, but you have to pay for Camtasia, right?
Yeah, Camtasia's like $300.
Right. So our checklist now has grown. You're going to find a way to create videos. The 2 other things that we wanted to talk about was conversion. We don't really have time to go over it, but you want to spend time understanding what people do when they get to your website. If you do all the stuff we talked about today to get a bunch of traffic there only to lose them, what was the point, right? So you want to understand what people are doing on your website.
We could probably end it on that slide, because
Which
it
one?
kind of goes into, we could
This?
probably end it. Yeah, and then we'll take some questions. You want to do that? Is there anything else that?
I just wanted to end on the last checklist.
Okay, good.
These are the things we didn't get time to cover because we talked too much. Okay.
There it is.
So the things we didn't cover is focus on conversion and install Google Analytics. Okay, the pretty simple things in terms of telling your person who's handling your website, absolutely get Google Analytics. It's free of charge and shows you all of the usage of your website. And that's it. Do we have any questions?
Want to end it on the wedlock slide?
Oh, yeah.
I'm just wondering if you can give us a good idea of how long we should expect to take, spend, how many hours, like, should I plan on it being a month, should I plan on it being a year to start
doing this?
doing all this?
I mean, obviously, if you take you don't want to take too much time away from your craft, but at the same time, this is all marketing. So maybe spend like an hour a day doing it, or a couple hours a week, maybe 2 hours a week. It depends on how much time that you have. I mean, if your time is, if you shoot $7,000 wedding photography events and you can book yourself solid, then find somebody internal that can just kind of do this stuff for you. Watch bridal traffic, and then you can say, this is what I want you to focus on today. I want you to optimize our blog, or I want you to go build out links. And then you could probably find maybe an intern that wants to learn about photography to do it for you for free.
Yep.
People talk about you on their Facebook page, and maybe you'll have a link back to you.
That doesn't do any, the only thing that's doing is it's branding, and it's actually getting you exposure, but it doesn't help you in your search engine strategy.
Where social media is really important from an SEO perspective is putting your links to Facebook and YouTube and LinkedIn and Twitter on your page, on your site, because they want to see that you're a participant in the larger landscape. That was an update that they did about 6 months ago called Google Caffeine.
Yes.
All right. Everybody that heard about Animoto, just forget it today. I've been using Animoto for some time. I have not used the link to YouTube or anything. Could I flood it with all these videos I've created over the last 3 or 4 years and just get it going in a grad scale?
Sure.
Or is that defeating the purpose?
No.
Own the whole thing.
Now, was it important to have had the link embedded in the video, or that's not a key?
You
Well,
can't,
on Animoto, yeah,
you can't embed a link in the video.
it's not.
Well, at the end, they ask if you want to have your URL to click on, but that isn't the key. It's the key is to have it at YouTube.
That's correct.
Well, syndicate it, yeah,
Yeah,
syndicate it.
syndicated by Traffic Geyser.
So I could take my 200 or so videos and just slam them in there.
Yeah.
Sure.
Cool.
Quick question. What is the typical, like when we do our videos, what do people, what's the attention span of how long do you want a video to be on? And I guess
2 minutes.
2 to 5 is the sweet spot.
2 to 5.
2 to
okay.
minutes, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Don't carry on too long, you know.
Can you do slideshows like videos
Sure.
the same way?
You can create a video as simple as this. You can record your voice reading one of your blog posts, and then just put images that kind of just come in and out, and that's a video.
Yep.
That's a video.
PowerPoint presentation. I mean, that's why the screen capture stuff is so important, because now you don't have to worry about having a videographer. You can just get whatever you're looking at, you can just be clicking on a button and do screenshots, and bam, you have a video.
Great.
Let's have a little hand here for Chris and Jason. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate your coming.